everything. Everything we have is a gift. Our life, our property, our health, our talents, our money. They are all gifts of generosity from God. We are called to share those gifts with others, not in a single action or 100 actions, but a way of life, a worthy life that represents courage and responsibility, a life that says yes to what God has entrusted to us. We have been called to receive God's gifts gratefully, develop them responsibly, and return them to the Lord to be shared with others. Stewardship.
Well, stewardship is taking care of our church, and there's a lot of different ways people can do that, not only just their resources, but time, talent, any expertise they might want to bring or new ideas, just to make it a whole, well-rounded experience for them.
Stewardship to me means getting in there and doing something that may need doing. Even if you can't afford to give anything, you can give of yourself.
We're both involved in Meals on Wheels. We're both involved in the women's circle.
Bible study.
If there are ways that you can get involved because of what life experiences have brought to you, if you can give back and you can be a part of someone else's healing process by doing that, I think that outreach is huge, whether it's within the church walls or outside of the church walls. I truly believe that everybody has something to offer someone else.
I like to think of being involved with the church and doing things that I can do for the church and for the members of the congregation.
Stewardship is our response to God's generosity, God's and ours, together. Today, we celebrate generosity.
Celebrate generosity. TLC members love to talk about what a great church this is. And it is a great church. I mean, so many wonderful things happen here. Our church as a whole, including our excellent staff, our fine facilities, provide for a multitude of opportunities for spiritual and personal enrichment. We support and serve one another and the community at every stage of our lives. To do all this, it takes generous contributions of time, energy, and yes, money to sustain and enhance our spiritual home here at TLC, where inspiring worship services and ministry programs flourish. Now, none of this would be possible without your steady and growing financial support each year. We depend on you.
Consider all that Transfiguration Lutheran Church means to you, your family, and the community. The church, the ministries, and the church staff are expressions, the fruits of your generosity. This is a time of learning, spiritual growth, and prayerful consideration of how God would have each one of us respond to the needs of TLC. Investing God's gifts of your time, talent, and treasure in God's work draws you further into the life of TLC.
Pretty impressive, isn't it? We are only limited by our resources. I can't remember a time in my life when money wasn't an issue. Those financial challenges, they just keep coming, don't they? Yet here we are together to rejoice, to celebrate our generosity from the past, and now toward the future. Will we be good stewards of God's Word and God's work, the work that God has called us to do in the world? Stewardship is not just a time of year when we get together and make a pledge. Rather, it's a thing to celebrate because it's our response to God's generous love and faithfulness. God keeps giving more and more and tells us we can do the same. Can we trust God's Word on this? I can guarantee you that God's Word is good, and the more we give, the more we get back. That's God's economy of generosity. May you grow in your generosity, and may God bless TLC, and let us celebrate together. I'd like to offer you a challenge. So often, every year when we do stewardship, a high number of our people repeat what they've given the year before, which is great. Ongoing support is always appreciated. But consider this, when you don't increase your support every year, even a little bit, it acts the same as decreasing your support. Because with costs rising every year, the amount that you gave this year won't do as much as it did next year. So my challenge is this: if everyone raises their giving even just a little bit, it can have a huge impact on our ministry together. Here's a snapshot of where the giving patterns are for our congregation. You can see from this graphic that a few households are giving a high amount of support, and a much larger percentage are near the bottom giving much less. The way the math works, if every household gives the same, we will be in a position of having to cut something in the coming year, because we can't do next year with the same amount as we have this year. But if each household were to increase even by 1% each, our budget would increase significantly. Not only would we not have to consider cutting, we could talk about making our youth minister full-time, for example, or adding some help to the pastoral care team, or both. These are much needed and much wanted by all. You'll be getting a letter in the mail a week before November 20th with an estimate of giving card inside. On the back of that letter, there'll be a graph, and it shows annual income on the left-hand column. And what I'd like you to do is find your annual income, figure out how much that means weekly, and then go across and see what percentage of your income you're currently giving on a weekly basis. At the top of that column, you'll find what percent your income is that you're giving. My challenge to you is this: would you please prayerfully consider taking one small step to the right? Prayerfully consider making your 2017 giving just 1% more than this year. I understand that's not something everybody can do, but a large number of you can if you so chose. And if a large number were to do this, TLC's ministry would be impacted in a significant and very meaningful way. Think of what more we could do that we're already doing. So please, take a step of faith. Grow one step in the coming year, and I promise it will bless you, and I know it will bless TLC.